Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise. Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life that you love. We're going to start today, as we always do, by thanking our good friends at Monogram Appliances. They help us sponsor the Design Dash podcast, and so we just want to give them a shout out. They're a longtime partner for us here at Design Dash, but also at Laura U Design Collective. And we love them because they believe in the three main pillars that we, as creatives, can easily get behind. And these are the great materials, high quality performance, and ownership. So each of these upholds their commitment to high quality, to innovation, and their ongoing relationships with designers and homeowners. If you ever work with their team, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. They are absolutely fabulous. And we believe that relationships and community are absolutely everything. We're all about aspiration and action. This is the foundation that our lives are built upon. And that's why we partner with Monogram.
Wow, you're on it today. That was so
that was nice.
And speaking of wonderful professional people, I'd like to introduce our guest today, and this is Anna Van Delden. She is a friend of mine, and she is a mom of two daughters, a wife, and an entrepreneur. She and her family live in Houston, Texas, and she and her husband, Darren, own multiple bars, restaurants in Houston, Austin, and Dallas. Which is actually how I met them long ago as a designer working in hospitality, which I don't do anymore because Darren and Anna basically ruined me for that part of my career.
Darren, not me, Darren.
Anna. Anna's always had a passion for health and wellness and focuses primarily on her fitness studio, LHTX Fitness. And in 2024, she plans to expand her brand and bring new innovative concepts and biohacking health and wellness center to Houston, which we are all about. Biohacking, like let's age in reverse. I love that idea. So welcome, Anna. It's great to have you here.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, love it that you've agreed to this reluctantly, and appreciate you joining us. So the first question that I like to start off with is really, so Design Dash is all about designing a life you love. And it's through intention and being thoughtful about decision making. So for your journey for LHTX and your career and your life, have you intentionally made goals and gone after them? Have you designed a life you love through goal setting and then like achievement? What's your path been like? What's your journey been like?
Well, it started very different than where I am now. I mean, you know, Darren, who is a serial entrepreneur, and if he gets an idea, he's like, "Oh, let's do it today." And I kind of got that bug from him. I'm a little more methodical in my planning, but with the first studio, my studio that I have now, we were living in Austin, and I fell in love with a method called Legree. And there wasn't really a market in Houston. And so one day I came home, I just had Lily, who is about to be 8. And I said, you know, I want to move back to Houston and I really want to open a studio. And he literally was like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, wait, no, we have to, don't we need like a business plan? Or he's like, well, no, we'll call Sebastian Legree today and we'll figure it out. And so like literally bada bing, bada boom, I couldn't even really process what was happening. And we found a space that wasn't even on the market. We called the broker, and this truly all happened like within a week. And I had to become, a business owner and figure out like all the things that there's no playbook for. And so that's how that happened, the first studio, and then working through hiring and all of that. Now, 6 years later, I am definitely a planner. I've learned a lot from mistakes that I've made. And, I think I've grown just not only as a leader and a business owner, but just I've matured. I was 29, 30. 28. And so
basically a baby.
Yeah, basically. I should have said I was 20. I was 20 when I started 6 years ago. No, yeah, basically. So there was there was a thought and then action, which truly, Darren knows me well. I think about if I would have thought about it and tried to plan it, then I don't know if I would have ever gone through it all the way, because it's scary. Now it's completely different. But opening a business is really scary. And when you don't have somebody, I'm very fortunate that I do have Darren, who has opened, I don't even know how many businesses, and some have failed. And fortunately, the majority have done really well and still well. But kind of having that vulnerability of that, it's okay to fail. And if it fails, at least you tried. Was kind of the first with my LHTX now, which is the megaformers. But it's evolved. Now I have my own machine. I'm not under the Legree umbrella. And again, that was just, that was planned out. And getting.
So let's talk about that. Yeah. I want to hear all about the next generation, the Anaformer, the powerformer. Talk about the studio. We'll circle back to the parenting and having a partner in Darren, and being both serial entrepreneurs now. But first, I want to hear what's next. So you had the thought and then the action for the original concept. Right. And you also partnered with Legree. So that was an established brand. So now what's the next iteration?
So after I split with Legree about a year ago, or it's not a franchise, it's a license. You purchase a license, buy his machines, and then it's like open and they will come, and I kind of ventured off. My passion is writing the curriculum. And so I write all the routines, I pair them with playlists, and then my coaches then will coach whatever I give them. So it's the same workout throughout the day. There's not very many people who do that because it is a lot of work. But my main goal for my studio is to cultivate the client. And if every instructor has a different view or what muscles they want to be working, there's so many factors. It didn't work for what I saw my brand becoming. And that was after I started that from the get-go, but it really started to evolve after I was in the studio, I was coaching. And so that's when I went off on my own. I needed my own machine that was better, sturdier, and that could really hone in on my method that is a little bit, it's different than traditional Legree. And so Darren and I are fortunate enough to travel a lot, and everywhere we travel, we work out, which we've traveled with Laura and Michael always comes and works out with us. Laura, do you go and work out with us too?
That is such a jab. I'm just asking. No, you're not. That is so pointed. I actually would work out now, maybe, probably.
Okay, all right. Well, this is recording, right? This is recording, so I can play back to this moment.
So I have been to Anna's studio one time and nearly fell on my face. So I'm not saying it's undoable. I'm just saying it's not doable for me.
Well, okay, so that's a great point. So moving forward with the brand and expansion, I really wanted a space that could be for all, whatever fitness level. And that's really what I was hoping that LHTX would be with these reformers. But, and to your point, Laura, it really is not. It's for the crazy people who like to be beat down every day and are in constant state of soreness. And I have I've been so fortunate to have that crazy group who have kept me extremely busy for 6 years. But I got injured. I had to have spinal surgery, and I was like, holy shit. I can't do this. And I may not, there was a point where I was like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this again. And so it really started my synopsis firing, like, okay, this really isn't for everyone, whatever, if you're a novice or, a professional athlete. And I'd always loved the heated concepts. Traveling, Darren and I we always work out, like I said previously, but everywhere has a heated concept, which I've been doing for at least 10 years in LA, New York. When we travel abroad, there's always some sort of heated yoga or Pilates. And after I was injured, that was something that was low impact enough that I could do and still felt like I was getting a workout in. And so I started researching on the best way of heat and kind of the science behind a heated workout. And that really happened about 2 years ago when I was like, I want to do a heated concept. And then when I got injured, it just kind of put everything into motion for me. And so moving forward, we are opening just down the street. We're moving our current location down on Richmond Avenue, down Richmond, which will have 2 rooms, one for the powerformer, which is the machine that I currently have for all the crazy people. And then a second room that is twice the size that will be infrared heated. I found an incredible company out of LA that is a green company that has the cleanest infrared heat. It's so good for our skin, our hair, rejuvenating the cells. And there'll be 3 concepts in there. So a bounce and burn, which will be a rebounding class on the mini trampolines. And then so it'll be a HIIT workout on the rebounder and then on the mat, but still low impact because I'll probably never run again. Maybe like a slow jog, but I'm too competitive to slow jog it. So, and then a reach and revive, a comprehensive stretch class. I love yoga,
that
but
sounds lovely. Like I can get on board with the stretch. Yeah.
So
Hot
then
stretch.
everybody can do it. You can go to the reach and revive. You could for sure do the power mat class. And I bet I could
bounce on a trampoline.
I know. I think you could bounce. I think you could bounce too.
Yeah, I can totally bounce.
It's also selfishly, I wanted a place that like a compound where I could do all the things that I love. And those are really the 3 things that I love. And I'll still go do yoga elsewhere. Yogis are incredible and they go through so much training. We're not trying to say that we're going to be a yoga studio by any means. It's a comprehensive stretch because as we age, our lower lumbars, our hips, our shoulders, they just stop working the proper way, no matter what we do. And stretching really is imperative for us to stay as active as at least my community wants to be. Well, and yours. I mean, y'all are so active up in Aspen. So
yes, we are. I think that being an entrepreneur is so hard already, but I feel like in your space, it has to be doubly hard because your body has to be just as sharp as your mind does. So like when you did have your injury, were you just like, okay, what do I do now? Like, were you still teaching classes? Like, were you just trying to like recover as quickly as you could?
Well,
what was that like?
This past year has probably been one of the toughest years just because I've never had health issues in my entire life. I say that I haven't had health issues in my adult life. And I started off this past year in 2023 with kidney stones. I'm like, what? How does this even happen? I drink electrolytes every day. It's just something that happened. And then when I started having like pain in my center of my glute, I thought I pulled my glute. And long story long, it was that I had a pretty much severed nerve in my lower back and compressed discs. And that's truly just from overuse, from not slowing down. And that's really like now my biggest preach is that you have to listen to your body and you have to take the time to recover. Because people also in a position like I'm in, you do feel like you have to be on all the time. So, I mean, and I like it. I liked it then. I would do 5 different workouts, 2 in one day, just really stupid. And not that people can't do that, but I mean, also women's bodies are different than men's. I mean, some people, it's just, and so I felt it's a very vulnerable position. And it was a really hard time in my life because I couldn't drive. I couldn't sit, I could walk, and I still did coach, but way less. I didn't tell anybody because I kind of felt shame almost, like,
what? Okay.
Well, because people would ask, "Oh, you're hurt. Was that from LHTX?" I'm like, "No, you idiot. I don't know what it's from."
And even if it was, I'm not telling you.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, it was probably an injury that I got. I like to tell Darren it's from when he made me go on a blue run, and he's like, "You got it," and then I rolled down the hill.
Skiing?
Yeah, I like to tell him that because he tries to get me to go skiing. And I hate being cold. So I'm like, that's what happened. I don't think it was that. Like my surgeons were like, did you fall off a horse?
Did you get ski recently?
And I'm like, well, 3 years ago. No, I really truly believe it was just I had something small and I ignored it and it just got way worse. So fast forward, I got the surgery and it was like a miracle for me, but I couldn't do anything for 6 months except walk and like low impact. I had to get a private yoga instructor because they were worried for my twisting that I could do something. And I never wanted to be in that position again. I truly lost like 6 months of my life. And it was in a lot of pain because I didn't want to become an oxy addict. So I didn't take any painkillers. But that's really, it was, yeah, thank you. Thanks. But it really did kind of push me in my entrepreneurial journey because I was a little bit comfortable and I'd always wanted to do this heated concept. And it was like, all right, bitch, let's go. You have all this time on your hands. You're not working out 2 times a day. Let's get a little creative. And so that's really what pushed me. And I was able to travel more and go and meet with some incredible people in LA and New York who have similar concepts and pick their brains, which I'm so grateful for because some people are not as, giving as others with information or guidance, I should say. So that's kind of how that formed to this. And then, but we are doing, which this fell into our laps right next door to the new studio, a wellness center. And that was huge with my recovery. So I did red light therapy, hyperbaric chamber, cryotherapy every week. And that sped up my healing process. I mean, my surgeon was like, even my scar, he was shocked how it was healing so quickly, just on the exterior part. So I'm like, this has to be our next concept. I don't know how, I don't know, the hyperbaric chamber is like a house. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to figure it out. And so we have a family member who's a plastic surgeon here in Houston, and he's partnering with us to do this wellness center. We share a wall with the new fitness center. And so it's kind of like literally my dreams are coming true to have this compound of everything that I need to not only continue to do what I love, which is the powerformer, but to really be inclusive to all fitness levels and help with recovery. Because now that's kind of been a huge passion of mine, is that it's just people who get injured who are in the fitness industry really do feel this shame and vulnerability that doesn't need to be felt. It's all on ourselves, but it's one of those things where it just there is a way you can stay healthy and safe, but you have to recover. And these little biohacking things like the red light and NAD therapy and all of that are just so innovative, and it really works. I'm a prime example, and I'm going to preach.
I love it. I think you should preach. And it also sounds like this may be even like a key to longevity concept and like aging really well. Is that an approach you're taking to it, is like longevity?
Oh yeah. Yes. So, and that's why Darren's so obsessed with it. So when I started doing the hyperbaric and the red light, it's a huge also so just physically, yes, those are all great things. Whether you're injured or not, doing all these things will help you with your cellular turnover. And then also your skin. I mean, Darren started, and your mental health. And red light therapy is great, not only for your skin, your hair, but anything that's going to turn your cells over at a more rapid rate is used for youthfulness. So like our collagen.
Anti-aging.
All the anti-aging stuff. And we're very into NAD
Love
right
it.
now.
I'm into it.
Has Michael done it? NAD?
Oh, I'm sure he has. My husband
I could totally see
completely
him
into all of this. Yeah.
So we're going to have 5 IV chairs. Yeah. NAD
okay, I don't know what that means.
It's intravenously. And it's another major, that's really the biohacking. And it's, Houston is always the last place to get. They do have some great IV places, but it's expensive. We're going to try to figure out how to make it a little more affordable. But I love science and learning about all the compounds and like glutathione and how it processes in our body. And there's just a lot of things that we need as we age to not only age gracefully, but I mean, I'm totally fine with turning back the hand of time a little bit. So
I'm fine with that too. I'm on board. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just going to be for people who have been injured or want to prevent injury. It really is also a little vanity, which it just is what it is.
Nothing wrong with it. It is.
No. So, I mean, I feel like I just totally.
Yeah, Melissa, no, that's great. I love it. This is exactly what we want to know. And I know Melissa's been looking into this some. So what else do we need to know from Anna?
When are you, these are your goals for 2024. When are you opening up? So everybody knows when that's happening.
Oh girl, April. Say a prayer for me.
So that's
And my partner is living in Austin right now. So I do have a
for business reasons. Let's clarify.
Oh yeah. Sorry. He's not in Austin. No, he's in Austin Monday through Thursday because for another project, which I'm fine. Like actually, it forces me to be really organized, and we work really well long distance, so it's fine.
I have to ask you about that because both you and Laura are married to entrepreneurs, and then you're entrepreneurs yourself. Like, do you feel like being with another entrepreneur makes it easier on you? Like, is he really supportive, or are you just like, oh, that's kind of hard because he wants to operate in a different way?
It makes it easier, I think. I'm like, Laura, you want to go first? I mean, I can speak for Michael or Laura and I. Michael and Darren are really annoying humans. I love both of them dearly, but they're very different, but they do operate similar. I think that at least for myself, I know how Darren operates and he knows how I operate. And we complement each other really well. And we know when to help each other and when to stay out of each other's way. And so we typically don't work on projects together. This wellness center, I think it's happened very organically, and it's something we're both really passionate about. So it's going to be great. But like he and I'm not going and telling him how to run a bar or restaurant, and he's not coming and telling me how to train my coaches. So I think if you stay out of each other's lanes, then it works great. And he's an incredible soundboard for me. And I really value his opinion. I just don't want it unless I ask for it.
I think that's valid. And that's the approach we take as well. And I think it just what you're saying, to tack onto that, being in two completely different industries is what works. And having that perspective, like an outsider's perspective, like my husband's in technology, I'm in interior design. Those couldn't be more different. So I think just having that outsider's perspective is really, really helpful, and that sounding board. But yeah, stay in your lane. Because Michael worked with me for a few years after he sold his first company. He came on as our CEO, and I had to fire him because he started asking me about my pipeline numbers. What do my numbers look like? How's business development? I was like, yep, this is no longer working. It's time for you to go find your next thing. Goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it works being entrepreneurs. And peace, like bye. And I think it does work really, really well because you're in it the same way, but working on different projects.
Yeah. I mean, and it may work out for other people, but Laura and I have very strong personalities. And so I don't think, I mean, I also couldn't be married to anybody else because sometimes I'm sitting in my bed working till God knows how late or early. And you really don't, you're always on. I'm not team no days off. I think you need to have, but that as a business owner, you really are on call at all times. It just is what it is. I have found a little bit of balance recently where I'm like, guys, it's fitness. Like, don't call me at 11 p.m. It's fitness. You're not dying. If you can't get into class, sorry. Like, I don't care at this point. Which I would have, a couple of years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, we got to figure this out. And it's like, no, it's fitness. It's going to be okay.
It's okay. It's not life or death. It's interior design. Yeah. It's fitness. It's going to be, I mean, yours is much closer to life or death than what we do. So
not really.
But yeah, like getting into class the next morning.
Another one.
Right.
But
no, definitely. Well, I could talk about this all day because I'm very into my fitness and wellness now, Anna. You'd be so proud.
Yeah, you move away from me, and then this whole new
I know.
New Laura,
now I'm actually like, dude, I go to the gym. You don't even know. So you inspire me all the time. And so others can find you. Tell us where you are online, physically, your social handles. Where can people follow you?
Well, physically right now I'm in Houston. You can
What's your address? Where is your studio? Where is your
2608 Richmond Avenue. And we'll just be moving right down the street to 2808. So literally a stone's throw away. And so that's off Kirby in Richmond in River Oaks, Upper Kirby area. You can find us at www.lhtx.com and then at Instagram, LHTX Fitness. You don't need to know mine. Okay. I mean, Anna Van Delden is my Instagram. But yeah, everything.
My gosh, it's the best because you can see her adorable little girls who are so cute. And sometimes Darren makes an appearance if you need to put a face with the name. Melissa, any follow-ups? Yes. We ready to wrap this baby up?
No, I think that's great. We're going to come see you when you open. We'll probably
do. I love it.
I'm into this. I'm going to come bounce.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
ladies.
Thanks so much, Anna.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on designdash.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.